Hey guys, and welcome to another reading vlog. So it is the 8th, it is Sunday at about 3:30 in the afternoon, and I just did my end clip for the last vlog, so if you guys are watching weekly vlogs, you know exactly what just happened. If you don't, go watch that last vlog to keep up with everything. But this is a new week besides one book. I have one book that I'm in progress of, which is The Wives, and I'm almost done with this one, so hopefully I'm gonna be able to read it this week. I am on page 215 out of this, so I'm almost done with this book, and I am enjoying it. If you guys want to know my thoughts on this, I will be doing a review at the end of the month, but I have definitely been giving you guys updates on reading vlogs. So there is that one. I also need to read 2 books for Gabby and I's book exchange that we are doing this year. We know how busy each other's lives are, so we're not putting like a time constraint on this of we have to have it delivered by Christmas. So it's just whenever we get it done, just around winter. So I do have those 2 books that I have already picked out that I need to read, but I am doing the magical readathon right now. So I have completed chapter 1, which was mine was read a duology, or a book in a duology, and I just finished Cricket Kingdom. So I am now on the magical readathon website that is beautiful. Book Roast is hosting this magical readathon. I highly recommend her channel. She is just awe-inspiring with how much effort she puts into these, and they are such a joy to be a part of. So she is amazing. So I'm going to go ahead and finish off. We're going to start chapter 2. So it says, welcome to chapter 2. Morning, it's September 1st. Yay, how did you sleep? From chapter 1. So warm and cozy at the burrow, bones aching a bit from the old bed, or so peacefully got my breakfast ready downstairs at the leaky cauldron. If I have a chance to stay at the burrow, I am staying at the burrow, because dream come true. I would love to be a part of the Weasley family. So we are going to obviously choose the burrow. And it shows a picture of 9 3/4, and it says, it is the morning of September 1st, chilly and crisp. You and the Weasleys climb into their Ford Angela to make your way to King's Cross Station. Surprisingly, it's really spacious, especially for the amount of people in the car. There must be magic involved. Everybody's cheerful mood has been dampened a bit by the fact that you had to turn around and go back to the burrow as Ginny, Fred, and George kept realizing they had forgotten something. When you finally reached the platform, everyone was walking at such a brisk pace you might as well have ran. You actually spot Hermione standing near the platform 9 3/4 column. She notices you too and starts waving enthusiastically for you to hurry up. Just as you go to catch Ron's attention, who's been too busy to notice Hermione as he's been gawking at the muggle clothing, he trips over Ginny's luggage. Ron, watch it! Everyone halts momentarily to help pick things up from Ginny's suitcase that's popped open, spilling her belongings all over the concrete floor of King's Cross Station. Poor Ginny is red as a beet. You start to lean in to help, but Mrs. Weasley ushers you away. Oh dear, that's quite alright. We've got this. Move along now while there is no queue to the entrance. We are right behind you. After double checking, they don't need more hands. You head over to Hermione to go through, or stay with the Weasleys. You want to stick with Ron. Now let's go with Hermione. You see Hermione pass through the barrier between the muggle and magical world in a very obviously nonchalant way. You follow suit by pretending to be checking for a timetable board overhead. When you casually approach the brick wall, it still makes you a bit uneasy. You're expecting to collide with it, making a scene. But as your foot brushes the front of the barrier, it melts away. And it says, your reading prompt. From mundane to magical, read a urban fantasy, usually a fantasy world that exists in a secret from the muggle world. Harry Potter, for example. An urban fantasy. So I would say this is more magical realism. Oh, I don't know. Oh crap, I don't have an urban fantasy. I was trying to figure out a way to twist the prompt to be able to read a book that I need to read. I don't know if I have an urban fantasy. To the bookshelves. Okay, it's like an hour later. I'm not joking. It's now almost 4:30 and I'm in distress over this urban fantasy. So I've scrolled through Goodreads, I've scrolled through just Googling urban fantasies, I've scrolled through the Magical Readathon Twitter. Everything like I can reread Harry Potter, I can reread Twilight, I can reread Vampire Academy. I have things that I can reread. I was trying to focus on books that I haven't read yet, and like the only one that I'm like is Every Heart a Doorway magical real, or I think that's magical real, I don't know. So Every Heart a Doorway, I don't know if that's urban fantasy or not. Also, The Beautiful is urban fantasy, but that's got a crazy long wait time. So I haven't given up on that one yet, but it's got a crazy long wait time, and I don't own the physical copy. So there's that. I also could read Wayward Son, because I haven't read that yet. However, Gabby disliked that one, and I'm like, I don't want to get into a reading slump, but that's an option. Otherwise, I have no idea what I would want to read. Like, everything that would be close doesn't sound good to me. So I don't know what I'm doing. So I tweeted out asking for recommendations for urban fantasy, and we'll see what comes about with that. So I guess for right now, I'm putting my reading on pause. I'm still reading The Wives, but hopefully people will respond somewhat soon. And I'll also ask like on my live show tonight too, because I need to figure that out. So that's my update for today. And if I get any responses, I'll let you guys know. Hey guys, and welcome to day 2 of the reading vlog. It is Monday, and it's about just past 3 o'clock. And I wanted to update you guys. So I'm actually planning out my reading for this week, and hopefully that will like help me stay on track. And so far it's been good. So my goal for today was to read 50 pages of The Wives. So I've done that. I am now on 267. So I only have roughly about 50 pages left. So I plan on finishing this tomorrow. Ignore that I just hit myself in the face. But this is making me like so amped up about the characters, being like, why are you doing this? Because there's some choices being made that I don't understand, and I just feel for the main character, but then I'm also like, should my emotions are all over the place with this. So maybe that's all it takes for me to like be emotional in a book, is having me read thrillers, because then I just get mad or I get freaked out. And yeah, maybe that I've cracked the code that thrillers are what is going to pull the emotion out of me. So I've been enjoying reading this, but I've also been like, what is happening? Like, like infuriating in a good way, because I'm like, I don't understand why all of these characters are acting this way. Like, so I'm hoping these last 50 pages, they will get their head out of their ass and start making sense. But that's, I'm enjoying this book. I have got 50 pages left. I'm gonna finish it tomorrow. So there's that. I may bring this to work actually and read it on my lunch break. So that's an option. Also, for urban fantasy, I was like scrolling through and nothing is available. So I was like, maybe I will read The Diviners, because that's urban fantasy and Gabby really wants me to read those books. And so I was like, okay, this is perfect prompt, even though it's a big book. But my library doesn't have The Diviners for like 4 more weeks. And I'm like, well, I need it for literally this week. So like that doesn't work. And I mean, I could read Vampire Academy, because we know how much I am like trash for that entire series. And I was trying to read, like not do rereads, but that's an option. But I actually was scrolling through, because urban fantasy is a category on my library app. So I was scrolling through urban fantasy and I did see this one. I also like looked up reviews. There's not that many books on urban fantasy books. So if you guys are avid urban fantasy readers, make a video on it, because there's not that many videos on YouTube. There's like 5 that pulls up out of like everything, which is wild. Few videos that I have seen, this has been like a really popular one that showed up. And someone at my work, we do employee recommends, or like staff recommends. So one of my employees loves this book and she recommends it to everybody, and she's like an avid, like she's a strong romance reader. So I decided to download this. It's Patricia Briggs. I've never read a Patricia Briggs book, and it's called Moon Called. It's a 9-hour book, so it's not too bad. I just hate the cover so much. Also, it's a werewolf book, and usually I'm more prone for vampire books than werewolf books, but, well, I'll try it. I'll try it. We'll see. Can we just look at the cover, though? The cover is just horrid. So, and like a paw print and like a reverse tramp stamp. I don't know. I have heard from like review videos that she's a very strong female lead, though. So you guys know that I'm a sucker for that. I've got about half an hour until I have to go to work, so I'm gonna put that on while I'm making like my food for tonight. Hey guys, and welcome to, I don't know what the heck that was. Welcome to day 2. It's Wednesday, because I didn't update you yesterday. But I did do reading, and so I finally finished The Wives. And oh my goodness. I'm convinced it's because I've not read a true thriller before, but now I want to read more. I was very unhappy with the turn of events that happened at the end of this. I don't even know I'm gonna read it yet. I haven't figured that out yet. I need to let it sit with me a bit more. I literally stayed up last night reading it until like 3 in the morning because I was out late anyways because of work. So I have feelings about how it ended and how it represents people. I will probably do a review video for this, and then at the end bits do like a spoilery section. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned for that. This comes out December 30th of this year, so it's squeaking in to the last bits of 2019, and I enjoyed this. This was a wild ride. I enjoyed it. I didn't particularly like the ending. The ending really messed me up at the end. Like, I was so, like, after I was done, I was like, holy shit, that's how it ends? So, I mean, take that with what you will. But I did enjoy it. There's some problematic things in here, but again, this is a thriller. I think, I've talked about it with Gabby, and we both agreed that thrillers have to have something problematic to have that, like, issue happening. There has to be something wrong. So there's that. And stay tuned for my full review so I can have some coherent thoughts instead of my ramblings right now. So I did finish this one, so that's great. I decided to pick up Moon Called by Patricia Briggs, and that is such a bingeable book. It's like not even funny. However, it's not a great book. I just have some issues with the writing style, which may be controversial because Patricia Briggs has a crap ton of books out, so I feel like she's kind of got a cult following. But this particular book, I hate the cover. Every time I pull up the cover, it's so awful. And it looks like nothing. Also, like, okay, you look at this cover and you assume it's gonna be like just straight sex throughout the whole thing. I only have like under 3 hours left of this book. I'm 6.5 hours into it. No sex. No sex has happened. I don't even think kissing has happened. Here's the whole thing. I don't even know if I told you what this book is about. This is a urban fantasy about, that's like known for its romance, but it's in fantasy. So I'm like, I'll get into that in a minute. So our main character, Mercy, is a shapeshifter. She is also a car mechanic. So in her town, or in this world, the Fae had to reveal themselves. So everybody's aware of it, at least some of the Fae. And there's Fae in high political standings that are controlling like who is going to reveal themselves type of thing. To satiate or to appeal to the humans. People know about it, but they don't know who's like who, and they don't know everything like that's being hidden. So for instance, there's goblins that have shown up in this book. There's vampires that shown up in this book. Then there's werewolves, obviously, because that's the main fae that is in this. And then she is a shapeshifter. So she shapeshifts into coyote form, which isn't as strong as a werewolf form. and she has a pack leader kind of look over her, but she's not in the pack, so she grew up with wolves, like the werewolves, but the werewolves don't have any control over her. She doesn't have to follow the rules, which is kind of like cheating, because the whole point of having werewolves is having all of those constraints and the changes and things. So she can turn at will into coyote form. She is they call her a walker, and she's dealing with that. So because she isn't wealthy, she's a mechanic who she's working with, working on like other phase cars. So she has like working relationships with them. And the premise is that there's this traveling pack coming in, or something, it has attacked the alpha that she lives near, that she's close to, that watches over her even though she's not in the pack. And so she is trying to figure out who has attacked the alpha of the like town pack, and his daughter has been taken, and they're trying to find where his daughter is. So that's, I mean, and all of that happens like relatively early, and so it's not like that much of spoilers. However, with the characters right now, they feel a bit flat, and I did see that in some reviews on Goodreads, is that people kind of give that feedback that the characters were a bit flat. Here's like my problem with this type of book, is the way that it's written is that they expect the reader to see the chemistry on page. I don't see any chemistry between certain characters. We are supposed to be aware that they have prior relationships before this book, and that something terrible has happened, and then we get to see that this is the aftermath. However, there's no chemistry, there's no like, so I'm 6.5 hours in, and there's like maybe one flirtation that has happened, like a flirtatious scene to initial that it was a romance in the past / now. I'm not positive. So that's what's, I mean, here's the thing. There's a lot of problems with this. However, I'm flying through it and I'm enjoying listening to it, and I like want to continue listening to it, but it's not great, and it's just like cotton candy. Maybe not cotton candy, because cotton candy is a little sweeter, but popcorn is a great, like, it's, you just keep eating it and it fills you up, but, or like, you just keep eating it, but then it's just like nothing, like you're left with nothing afterwards. Or maybe that is cotton candy, I don't know. I'm gonna stop trying to have food analogies. So like I said, I only have 2 hours and 43 minutes left, and I'll definitely finish that this week, so I'll be able to get my urban fantasy prompt done. That is this long ass update, and then I think I'm probably going to start to pick up garden spells, and that'll be my physical read for right now. So that's my update, and I will check back with you guys in a little bit. Hey guys, so obviously elephant out of the room, I did chop off my hair, but it's a lot more flippy. So still trying to figure out how to work it. But I finished Moon Called, so I will put a picture up here. And I read this for the second week of the Magical Readathon. I'm rating it like a 3 out of 5 stars, just because the characters really weren't fully fleshed out. I didn't really feel the connections between the different characters, and there was like the picture, it looks so smutty, and there's no romance. I mean, there's very, very, very tiny romance, and then you're just expected to believe that these characters have this type of connection, and you don't really see it on the page. So definitely not a romance book. It was very bingeable, and I had fun reading it, like listening to it, but I did not care about any like deaths that happened in the book, and there was a lot of deaths, and I didn't really like care for the characters. Maybe that comes farther into the series, you care more about the characters, but I expect my books to make me care about the character. If I've listened and spent like 9 hours listening about their story, I expect to care about them within the first book, because why else did you pick up the second book? So overall, it was like, it was a very entertaining read. Like, it was entertainment, but not like something I loved. So that's why I was 3 out of 5 stars. And I completed my magical readathon like prompt, but otherwise I don't think I'm gonna continue unless I like really don't have any audiobooks to listen to, and then I would pick up the next one because it's just like fluff to listen to. It's like not, it's a fantasy that feels like a contemporary to me, because except I don't care about the characters as much, because it's very easy to ingest, especially if you're like new to fantasy. I think that would be a really good new to fantasy book to get into, and then because it's very bingeable, so I think that would be a really good stepping stone if you're looking to get into fantasy. But that's not something that I would recommend to fantasy lovers, and especially high fantasy lovers. I would not necessarily recommend it, because I think there's a certain caliber that you expect from high fantasy of being able to establish this world, establish magic systems, establish characters and backstories, and all of this is a lot more elaborate in my opinion versus contemporary, and this just didn't live up to the par of like fantasy. I mean, it is urban fantasy, but it doesn't live up to the par for me. And this is like an older book, so maybe she has progressed in her writing styles. I know people love Patricia Briggs. I don't know. I may pick up another one, because I did enjoy like how fast I read, but I didn't like love it. So I don't know. Let me know down below if you guys have read any more Patricia Briggs, and if her character development gets better. I just don't want to read like 4 books into it to start to care about the characters, because that's too much time investment when I can read like, you know, a Sarah J. Maas and have the characters leap off the page to me, or Brandon Sanderson and have that leap off the page to me type of storylines. So I just think there's better books in my opinion. So that is going to wrap up this week's reading vlog. I know this is short. Last week was way too long. This one's gonna be really short. Maybe next week will be perfect. I just don't want to, it's Saturday by the way. I don't think I ever told you. I just don't want to start like a new book today and then end the reading vlog tonight. And then, yeah, so I will be starting another reading vlog tomorrow once we get the release for the prompts for the magical readathon. And I will see you guys then. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.